Welcome to Sell Like You, the ultimate sales podcast that will teach you how to make sales your superpower, transform your mindset, and in doing so, explode your sales beyond your wildest dreams. I'm Harriet Meller, and over the last 17 years, I've helped hundreds of top companies around the world, including my own, make more money and qualify more leads using simple strategies that work. In this podcast, you'll learn how I generated over 10 million in annual sales, along with the sales techniques, processes, and tools that will work for you to generate more dream-aligned clients and scale your business beyond what you thought was possible. If you're sick of the boring, outdated, and pushy sales tactics of the past, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Knowing what to share, when to share, or how to share new offers and opportunities with your existing clients or opportunities is really key when you want to or you are able to offer them multiple options or multiple different ways of being able to work with you. Now, when it comes to having an existing patch or if you're solely working on new business, then we need to always be mindful of what's coming next. Now, if you only have one solution, one product, and that's all you can offer, then obviously we want to keep in touch. You want to make sure that the renewal's there, that they're going to give us a good recommendation, be able to provide referrals. But most of the time, the businesses that we work with, especially across tech or, B2B service-based businesses, we are able to support them in so many ways, working with a service that's being offered by yourself or by partners or different vendors. And so being able to come back time and time again with new opportunities and new ways of solving their problems is really key to being really effective with your outreach and with the time that you're spending to maximize those results, to maximize your sales and to maximize that revenue. And so when it comes to showing those new offers, often the questions that I get asked are around how do I call them all the time with new things that are going on? If I've heard of something or if there's a new solution out from a vendor that we are closely working with, how do we tell them about that without being really annoying? Because you can imagine how annoying it would be is that I buy one thing from you and then every week I'm like, hey, I've got these 7 new things that you could purchase from us. Now, the reason why I say annoying is because we're not connecting it to anything. There's no connection between, I know you have a problem and we can solve it. I know you have other problems and we can solve them. We've seen this great solution or we've experienced these great results through these solutions, and I'd love to share more with you. And so I want this episode to be very much about how to do that, and also about how we can position those solutions and options when we know stuff and when we don't know stuff. And what I mean by stuff is that do we know more about them beyond what it is that you have either sold previously or what you're currently engaging them within? Or are we needing to go in utilizing the industry or the size of the organization as the compelling reason to explore the new offering or the new product or the new service? Okay. So one of the most simple ways to do that, actually, I'm going to give you two simple ways. So the first one is going to be, we're actually going to look back at the qualification element. So if once you qualify, you have that first meeting, you gather all of that intel, you can then keep that as a list, and that's your shopping list essentially, or that's their shopping list, and you're able to check in it every now and again, make sure that they are across what it is that you can offer in line with their shopping list in brackets. Now, the other side of that, the second way of doing that, is by sharing it from a compelling reason of being, industry led, or we've seen this great success, or I think you would be interested in. Now, that side of it comes from an area of trust. Now, in sales, we need to be able to drive opportunities all the time, but it comes down to trust. It comes down to people wanting to buy from us time and time again. So our first sale, the first time they purchase from you is an opportunity for you to do more with them, is an opportunity for you to build their trust, to add more value. And so if they've purchased from you once, product or service, and you have done a great job and you've checked in on them and you've given them an incredible customer experience, then they are going to be open to more things. And that's why, we work with a lot of managed services as well as project services. And the recommendation there is, can we start with one one service? Can we do an incredible job with that one solution? Because if we can start here really small and work our way up, when it comes to the big ticket of a managed services or a big ticket of a higher price solution or a longer term solution, we're going to have some backing. We're going to have, yeah, but you had a great experience. So are you ready to trust me and let's take the next leap together? Or we have an opportunity to show them that we're actually not great and therefore they're not going to really come through. And so most businesses will say yes to the small thing and they will build their way up. Now, that's not always the case. There's a lot of managed services that we work with that are able to go straight in at that managed services level because they've got the capability, because they've got the referrals, the reviews, the testimonials, they've got the name in the market, and they're able to showcase specifically to them as to how that's going to work, potentially with guarantees and other things to be considered. So when it comes then to offering this additional service, whether they've bought one thing or bought 10 things will depend then on how you leverage that and how you leverage your trust and how much they know about you and how much you've shown them that they can trust you and that you should be the go-to. So in that sales scenario, we want to be the thought leader for them. We want to be their go-to in our field. So every time they think of insert topic, you want them to think of you. And so that comes from bringing them new things. So we need to change our mindset, firstly, around how we're doing that. We then need to then change the way that we are communicating, because I've worked with senior salespeople and I've asked them about how are they currently going to market? If they've got this new service, how are they doing that? Now, when you have a great relationship and you are well trusted, you can ring someone and be like, hey, I've got something, I really think you need to see it. And away you go. You've got that meeting. Now, if you don't have that, we need another way. Because if I've worked with somebody once, or if I'm still on that journey with them looking at a solution, there's no way I can just leverage, hey, I've got something, I think you're going to like it, without anything else coming into play. And so I want to give you this other side, this other view of it as to how we can position that. So firstly, I'm going to share about a sentence that we can use that will allow you to then be able to segue into what it is that that you've got to offer. And then I'm also then going to give a story case where you're able to use both of these. So these are, as you know, I love to give lots of value. So these are ideas that you can actually implement that will work for you. Okay, so next time you have a call with that prospect, and I should really say client, because at this stage, the client element would be more useful for this sentence. And then the second example I'm going to give you will work for both. So let's say you've got an existing client, they've purchased from you at least once, and you don't yet have the ability to be like, hey, I've seen something really cool, I think you should see it, without much context, because you will certainly get there if you're not there already, if you're doing a great job. So they've purchased something, you're having a conversation with them. It might be a check-in, it might be a review of something else, it might be an opportunity to just go through a report. It just really, truly does depend on what it is that you are offering. At the end of that, or kind of halfway through, and we've covered what it was for the reason for that call, we then go into now while I've got you. Okay, while I've got you is the segue sentence that we can use. So while I've got you, we've seen this great insert product or service with this great outcome, and I believe it will have an impact based on what I know about you of XYZ. Okay, so there's a lot of personalization in here that I want you to consider. So while I've got you, we've seen great success. We've seen great outcomes. We've seen these great results with this solution or with this vendor or with this partner or with our offering. And I believe it will support you in doing XYZ. Would you be open to a quick 20-minute overview? Would you be open to this? We've got the lead person in town for 3 days next week. Would you like a coffee with them? Make it very much about them. It needs to be led by what you know about them and why you believe it's going to have an impact for them. So that's when you know they're trying to do something or they've had a problem somewhere else where you can solve that. And then you're able to then segue that in with a, would you be open to? Okay, so why do you believe they would find this of interest? Why do you believe they should take 20 minutes of their time to have this conversation? Now, I talk a lot about 20 minutes. 20 minutes is like my fail safe. It's my go-to because 20 minutes feels easy. It doesn't feel like a big commitment. I can do a 20-minute coffee. I can do a 20-minute call. I can have a 20-minute conversation. And that's a 20-minute opportunity of their time that you have to explain the value, to show the value, to share the value, to share the outcomes and why you believe. And if you're bringing somebody else in, it's up to them then to really showcase in line with what you already know about them. When we have an hour, we really need to know what we're trying to do in that hour. And we need to be very clear with what we're doing, because usually that hour can sometimes feel like we are going down into so much detail, so much information before we've even got that initial buy-in. So this means that you're also being mindful of your time as well as their time, but we're connecting the dots. Okay. So while I've got you, insert what you're looking for, what we've done, who we've helped, what outcome, and why you believe it's relevant to them. Okay, so that's someone that's purchased something. We know enough about them to be able to position that. Now, the second option that I want to share with you today is around the other variables. So we don't necessarily know if there is a need or a desire or it's on their roadmap. Okay, so this may be fairly new. They may have purchased one thing with you. It may be very minimal. You may have not done the initial qualification. There's not many notes. There's lots of reasons why you would end up in this position. So at this point, we then need to then have a slightly different tact. And what I'm going to use here is a story. So we could still use while I've got you, or we could just say, now, just quickly before we hop off, we've been working with a couple of clients, very similar industry to you, or very similar size organization, or they've seen great success as well with this product or this service that we've just talked about. And I was interested to understand if you would be interested, or if this is on your roadmap, or if you're looking to overcome this, or if you're looking to achieve this outcome. And so what we're able to do there is share a story. So we're not necessarily knowing, are we going down the right path? Now, if we segue this, or if we link this back to our qualification, during qualification, I usually draw this kind of rabbit warren of a map where you get to a dead end where you've done your qualification element. We hit a dead end because what we're talking about isn't relevant. What I've asked is kind of a no. We then need to back up, ask different questions and take us on that journey again until we hit the dead end at that point. Now, dead end doesn't have to be as in it's not happening. It's just we've gathered everything. We've got everything that we need. So now we can talk about something else. And so the same thing happens when we are checking in with them. If we don't have enough information, I would say be sure to go and get that. And if wasn't your account initially, say, look, it'd be great to have the opportunity just to learn a bit more about your business, about your goals, about where you're going, about where you're looking to go, or what you're looking to achieve over the next 6 to 12 months. Remember that for most of the businesses when we're talking about these high ticket, these service-based businesses, you're not looking for somebody to come in. They're not going to make a decision overnight and be yours. And we need to be really mindful of that. And so as we're understanding their 6 to 12 month journey, as we're understanding where they've been, where they are and where they're going, we can start to unpick this. So if you've had that opportunity, or you've got that opportunity coming up, don't be afraid to create the shopping list, to create the opportunities list, because that will allow you to come back. So when we have that opportunities list, we can then contact them really effectively to say, hey, look, John, I know when we last spoke, you were talking about this, or I know when we initially spoke, this was on your radar or on your roadmap for the next 6 to 12 months. Now, I know we're not quite there yet. However, we've got this great event coming up. We've got this person in town. We've got this awesome, overview. We've just seen this incredible demo, and I really believe it would add value to you and at least give you some food for thought for that planning session in October. We're always linking it back to, what did they tell us? What do they want? What do they need? And so if you can align that with a story, align that with, while I've got you, we've seen this great outcome for these great results. I know that you find this of interest, or knowing that the industry is shifting to this, would you be open to learning a bit more about it? It does not need to be a sale. And this has been a really hot topic for us over the last couple of weeks, is that conversations, connections, and building relationships, it does not need to come with a sales element every single time. Okay. I did 9 meetings across 2 days last week. And of those 9 meetings, 3 of them were valid, opportunities for us to work together. The rest were connections in the industry, were people that I've been connected to or through, or someone that I've been referred to. And so from those conversations is that a couple of them were just great. We learned from one another. I learned about new tech. I was able to learn about how people are doing, different outreaches in different industries as well. But then the other ones have then come back to me with a referral. Someone else, I can see how I can help them. And so you just never know what's going to come from it. So don't always feel like every single piece of communication or everyone you speak to or everyone you meet with for a coffee has to be sales driven. Yes, there has to be those elements in there. Yes, we can't just go week in, week out without having, a genuine prospect meeting, because you will definitely not hit your targets. You will definitely not, close those sales, because you do need to have them. But when that is the forefront 100% of the time, you will not go as far as if you were meeting with different people and different, opportunities within the industry or outside your industry, where you can learn or they can learn. Okay. So remember to come back, have that in bracket shopping list, opportunities list for every qualified opportunity that you generate. Use the while I've got you, use the story element, ask them for 20 minutes, because that's going to be a really effective way to get a quick yes, very low commitment from them, and be able to showcase value. And then it's over to you to do that. Thank you for tuning into the Sell Like You podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review and be sure to subscribe to never miss another one. A huge thank you to Vitality House for hosting today's recording, and I look forward to being back into your ears soon.